welcome to episode 36 of the Slow Crafting podcast. My name's Nadine and I'm coming to you today from the northwest of England near Manchester. Oh, I've got makeup smudges because I've been out in the mist and fog this morning. This is a roughly bi-weekly podcast about trying to increase my handmade wardrobe through knitting, spinning, sewing and crochet, but keeping in mind a slow living or slow fashion agenda at the same time. Now, today's episode is the first one of the year, so it will be sort of a bit of a review of 2018 and then talking at the end about my plans for 2019. So, first step is to talk about what I made last year and what worked, what didn't get finished, and what I've been wearing and what I've not been wearing so much. Okay, so we'll start with outfit one. Right, so this is outfit number one that I made in January last year. It's not been ironed. You'll find that none of the outfits that I talk about today have been ironed. They'll all just come out of the wash, so apologies for that. But outfit number one was the apron wrap dress from Dotty Angel. I'll try and remember to put the details either on screen or in the show notes, probably on screen, it'll be easier, of what the patterns actually are. So the dress from Dotty Angel that I made from an old sheet and fabric scraps with pockets. The waistcoat is a free pattern from Knitty, and I made that with some stash yarn, and then the shawl, which is just a pattern that I made up as I went along using scraps and stuff from leftover projects. Now, I like this outfit, but my favourite bit is probably the shawl. That gets the most wear. I really love the colours that I've used in it. They coordinate well with lots of other outfits, and I like the shape because it's an elongated triangle, and it was really nice to knit because it was mostly garter stitch, so it was quite mindless, relaxing knitting. It's got a lot of wear, and it's still looking really nice actually to say how much wear it's had. It's not really bobbled or pilled or anything, and I've not had to reblock it yet either. The waistcoat, I like wearing a waistcoat, but the pockets aren't quite deep enough to put my phone in, so they do fall out. Oh, my phone does fall out of my pockets, which is quite annoying because that was partly why I wanted pockets on it. Save me tucking it into my bra or down random bits of my clothing. You can't see it, but the shawl collar that it's got isn't quite big enough, and it doesn't sit properly. I know that was one of the comments on Ravelry about the pattern. Some people had made the shawl collar bigger, so it actually sat and stayed where it was meant to be. Also, I think it could do with being a little bit longer in the body for me, and I know I wear it with dresses, but it still feels a little bit short. I think I'd probably get more wear out of it if it wasn't quite as fitted, or if it sort of flared out at the bottom and came a bit longer in the body. Then I could get away with the pockets being bigger as well. But it does make a nice extra warm layer. The dress, I like it. I think the fit around the neckline is a bit baggy, but I just did it all in one size. And I think I found over the course of the year that my body is not all one size, it's various different sizes. So if I made it again, I would grade the pattern so it was smaller on the shoulders than this one is. But overall, it's a thumbs up from me. It gets worn a decent amount, but it's not my favourite outfit of the year. Right, outfit number 2. This is the dress, I can't remember if the one was dress E or dress F from, again I'll put it on the screen, from the Japanese dress design book that I got early last year. This was originally plain white fabric, which I then dyed and did some stitched shibori on, so around the bottom and on the pockets, just with an ordinary Dillon die pack. And I think this is probably my favourite dress out of all the ones that I've made this year, because I like the tie-dye. It's blue, obviously it's my favourite colour, and I really love the embroidery stitching details. So focus on my finger, not the not the stitching. So yes, I think for this year, so 2019, I will probably try and do a bit more stitching on the dresses. The one complaint that I have about the dress, or one sort of downside, is I don't know if you can see at this side, the yoke bit at the back is white or a paler fabric. Now originally I'd done some natural dyeing on that, but I hadn't got my mordant right, so over time as I've washed it, it's faded. So basically it is that bit is just plain white now, which is not a problem. You will notice there is a distinct lack of cardigan to go with this one. That's because I still haven't finished the blue and white stranded colourwork cardigan from the Rowan magazine that I was working on. I had planned on getting it done before Christmas, but then I ran out of the white yarn again. I seem to have needed a lot more than I was expecting to for the project, which is a shame, but I didn't want to buy any more just before Christmas because I'd spent enough on presents, and I didn't have time to pop up to the shop to get some. The shawl or scarf that's with it hasn't had anywhere at all actually, but that's because it was a crochet pattern that I was working on or planning to write up, and because I've not got around to writing it up, I didn't want to wear it and have it get all bobbly and lived in before I managed to take pictures of it. So yes, although it's my favourite dress, the rest of the outfit hadn't been particularly successful. Right, this wasn't actually a part of my 4 outfits plan for the year. This outfit looks considerably better on the hanger than it does in person. But I still quite like it. This was just because I wanted a lightweight summer dress to wear over the summer because it was ridiculously hot, and I made it using leftovers from the first Dotty Angel dress. It's the Dotty Angel frock. I'll put the pattern details at the bottom again, and some cotton that I had in stash, and then again leftovers for the pockets. This one I actually made my own bias binding for, that went around the neckline and the armholes. Wasn't entirely successful, and I don't particularly enjoy making my own, but actually looking at it on the garment, it looks relatively neat. It was a big faff though, so I might be on the lookout for market stalls that sell bundles of ready-made, not so much commercially made, but you know, there's some market stalls that sell bias binding that they've made themselves from scraps and things, so I'll be definitely on the lookout for any more of those. Now the ties that you can't see because they're fastened around the back, on the dress I put them where they were supposed to go according to the pattern, but in reality I think they could do with being a bit lower than I'd get, because they sort of come part way across my bust rather than sitting underneath my bosom and further towards my waist. Yeah, this was, I can tell that I've not spent as much time making this as I did the other dresses. because I was just putting it on the hanger now, and I've noticed on some of the seams, particularly where the straps are or the ties are fastened in, that I need to do some repairs on the stitching. And sorry about that random noise in the background, I don't quite know what that is, it's coming from outside somewhere. But yes, so this is definitely something that if I was to make it again, I would need to spend more time doing a proper job on it. But yes, otherwise it gets worn. I have to wear it, what they're called, underskirt or slip underneath it, because the blue's a bit thin on the cotton. But yes, I like it. Right, this was outfit number 3 for the year that I made. The dress is another dress pattern from the Japanese dress book that I have. I'll put it on the screen. The cardigan is the Afmeli cardigan. Well, it's the Afmeli sweater turned into a cardigan, and the shawl is can't remember, something to do with love. I'll put it on, but the shawl's made from Erica Knight Studio linen. The dress is made from leftover fabric, so I think the paler green is some old curtains that I chopped up and over dyed dark green, and that you can't really see here, but there's a bird embroidery on the pockets, the patch pockets. And the cardigan, the coloured yoke is all scraps, so there's various different things. There might be some acrylic in there, there's wool acrylic blends, there's some alpaca, there's some superwash 100% wool, and then there's some non-superwash wool. The green is some like really old stash that had come from somebody's grandma that had died, and I really like the colour, but it has really started to pill, particularly under the arms, and like on the side of the bosom. But I have lived in this outfit. I think it was my most worn outfit when we were in Orkney over the summer, and the dress particularly, it's just so comfortable, and you can just throw it on and off you go. The pockets are really big and useful, and it's just the right length, so you can wear it on its own or with tights or with trousers, and it doesn't look odd. The one problem I had, well, you can't see it because the shawl, but under the shawl, the neckline, you're supposed to have a bit of a keyhole neckline on it, and I've not done it straight, so I don't like wearing it without a shawl on. But as I'm obsessed with shawls at the moment, that's not a problem. Again, if I was making it a second time, I would grade the top, so it was only a size 12 at the shoulders, because I could get away with it being a smaller size. But I really like this, even though the fabric, when we went to Orkney, I did match one of the tablecloths in the campsite, which was quite funny. But yes, I think this is probably my most worn outfit that I made this year, even though I only finished it in July. Right, this is my most recent completed outfit, finished end of November, beginning of December, I think. It's the metamorphic dress from Meg at So Liberated. It was made using deep stash yarn for the peach and some old pillowcases for the brown that were originally white, and I overdyed a dark brown colour. Hand spun breed specific fibres for the shawl, which is a modified very much simplified version of the Macariri shawl from Aroha Knits. The hat is a kit that I got for my birthday. It's from Orkney, from a company called Judith Glue, and the cardigan is using some locally produced wool, and the pattern I just made up myself as I went along. I very much like this outfit. The shawl is quite difficult to wear because it's an arrow shaped shawl, so I tend to fold it in half and wear it as an elongated triangle. The hat is just amazing and lovely and smells sheepy even now. The cardigan is nice. The sleeves are long, well, in fact they're rolled up at the end, so it's very unusual for me because I normally have like 3/4 length sleeves, but I enjoy that. I enjoy that, having longer sleeves on this one. The cardigan, it fits nicely, but it could do, because I've made it without any buttons, and I think it could do with one just possibly at the top, just to keep it on my shoulders a bit easier. The dress, I love the side seam pockets. I think I'll be making more things with side seam pockets this year. I'm actually showing you the back of the dress there, not the front. Never mind. And it's reversible, so this is the one that I did the stitching of the wolves and the phases of the moon on the peach side. I don't wear the peach side as often, just because I feel it makes me look bigger than I am, which I'm not massively comfortable wearing solid pale colours over my entire body. In fact, I don't tend to wear that many pale colours in general, but yes, I feel a bit more bulky when I wear it the peach side out, but I love the dress, so I'll just have to get over that. Yeah, this had a decent amount of wear. It's been good at keeping me dry when I've gone out in it without a coat on and it's rained. And yes, I think I probably will make another one of these dresses this year, because it's comfortable. It's actually slightly more flattering in terms of shape than some of the other oversized dresses that I've made this year. And yeah, 2 dresses in one, what's not to love? So another big thumbs up for this outfit as well. Right, so hopefully you've seen all the videos of the 4 outfits that I made last year. So I'll go into my plans for 2019. Now, my first plan is to finish off the blue and white cardigan that I didn't finish last year, because I really do want that in my wardrobe. I just need to find time to either order the ball of wool online and have it delivered, or get on the bus and go to the shop and buy it. Now, it might actually be easier if I ordered it online, because then I wouldn't have to pay the bus fare or buy 7 other balls of wool whilst I was in there, which is probably the way that it would work. And then a slice of cake on the way back. Yes, I might just order it. Right, so that's 2018 over and done with. 2019, my word of the year is going to be thrifty. Now, if you've watched me crafting at all recently or in the past, you will know that I am quite thrifty and tight, in keeping with my Yorkshire roots, but it's not just about not spending money, it's about mainly using what I have. So it's about using up my stash instead of just acquiring mountains and mountains of new stuff when I don't actually need it. It's about using fabric that is already in existence and not buying new all the time. So it's not just about saving money, it's about sustainability as well. So it might be that I'm recycling fabric, or it might be that I'm using fabric or wool that's been in my stash or in
friends and relatives' stash for donkey's years. There will be occasions when I do buy new things, but that will probably be when I'm making things for other people, not necessarily for myself. So yeah, that would be my first step, being thrifty and using what I have. The second step is I really enjoyed making the 4 outfits over the year. My arm's getting tired. That I did last year. So I think I'm going to stick to making 4 outfits again this year. I've got some vague plans for those so far, and it will generally be a jumper or cardigan, a dress or top, and a shawl. I don't think I need to make hand knit socks every time this time, because I've got quite a few socks in rotation already. So, and I've not got a massive stash of sock yarn anymore because I've been using it up. So I think not all my outfits will include socks this year, but they will all include shawls, because one of the things that I learned was that I do love wearing something around my neck all the time, whether it's a cowl or a shawl or whatever. And for preference, an elongated triangle, because I find that easier to style, easier to wear, and just more versatile. Yes, probably when I talked, I think it was in episode 34, when I talked about the curated closet, when I did a review of that book, I talked about my colour palette for the year. Now, looking back over the outfits for last year, it was very much blue and brown, blue and brown, blue and brown again. But you would not be surprised that blue and brown feature quite heavily in my plans for this year. But like I said, when I discussed my colour palette, when I was talking about the curated closet, I think I talked about bringing in a bit more black, a bit of green, and then highlighting colours with a bit of red, maroon and mustard, and possibly orange. So yes, and an off-white creamy colour. So there might be a little bit more colour in my wardrobe or makes this year, but I do want what I make to be able to coordinate with things that are already in my wardrobe. So one of the criteria when I'm making things will be, have I already got other things in my wardrobe that I can wear with it? So not just looking at it as one outfit that I'm making from scratch, but looking at it in terms of, can elements of this outfit work with other things that I already own? So getting several outfits from the one. So yes, that's part 2 of the plan. I'm trying to think if there's much else to the plan. I think it's quite straightforward in that I'm going to be taking around 3 months to make each outfit. I'm not doing a mad rush on my first outfit this year, mainly because I'm meeting up. Last year I did a mad rush because I was meeting up with some friends at the beginning of February and I wanted an outfit for that. But this year I'm meeting up with them in the middle of January, in fact next week. So I'm not rushing an outfit for that. I've got plenty to wear. And yeah, so all my outfits this time will be taking around 3 months to make. I'll go through my plans for each outfit at the beginning of that 3-month period. So each quarter I'll have a discussion about what my plans are. Because although I've got a rough idea in my head now, including which patterns I want to use, I may change my mind when it comes down to it. Because I know I did last year and I wanted a bit of leeway to do that, rather than saying at the beginning of the year, right, I'm going to do this, this, this and this. I'll give myself time to think and to just double check and make sure that the fabric that I've got works with the patterns that I have in mind. Yes, as well as the 4 outfits that I'm planning on making, I will probably intersperse it every now and again with details of other knits or sewing projects or spinning projects that I'm planning on making, because I do have plenty of things that I'll be making for other people. So I already know I've got a pair of pyjama bottoms to sew for my other half, a jumper to knit for my brother, a cardigan to knit for my mum, and yes, lots of other things on the go on top of my plans for this year. Yeah, I think the only other things that I wanted to talk about was I did Vlogmas at the end of last year, which was really interesting actually, because I'd never done it before, and my Vlogmas is very different to everybody else's. Well, certainly the ones that I watched. The ones that I watched were very much people lived in bigger cities, or quite a lot of them lived in or around London, so they were gadding about and looking at big light displays and fancy shops, which was really, really interesting, but very different to mine. So yes, yeah, it was fun. It was very odd recording and getting it uploaded every single day, and there was a couple of occasions where I didn't quite manage that through illness or just general life getting in the way, but I did record right up to the 24th, and it was really odd because there was a couple of occasions where I was recording out and about in public as well, which was very strange, and but I did like just the recording of little bits here and there. It made it a lot more manageable than like when I record a podcast and I normally have to sit down for an hour to talk about what I'm doing and then get that uploaded. So yes, there might be more in terms of the podcast where I film little bits here and there and then join them all together, which might be irritating for some people or it might not, but it works easier for me, so we shall see how I get on with that. But I did also find that during Vlogmas I became a lot more comfortable with recording when I wasn't looking at my best, shall I say. First thing in the morning when I was still in bed and half asleep, with no makeup on. I mean, today I've got mascara on, but that's it. And with wild and crazy hair. And that's going to make it a lot easier for me to stick to my recording schedule for the podcast, because I'm just like, really? You look not that much different when you've taken the time to put your makeup on and got all set up and ready to when you've just rolled out of bed and started recording. Some people may disagree with that, but to me, I'm like, oh, actually no, yeah, I look okay. I look tired, but I don't need to wait till I'm looking perfect before I record. So yes, that was one of the other things I learned from Vlogmas. I did also learn a little bit more about how to edit my videos. Not massive amounts, so don't be expecting suddenly decent production values or anything. It will still be very much as it is now. But yes, so that was a really good thing. I really enjoyed Vlogmas. I don't know if I'll do it next year, because it was my run up to Christmas is very busy with making things and not necessarily going anywhere, so it might not be that interesting for everybody, but I do quite like the little short 5-minute this is what I've done with my day videos. I know I like watching other people's, but that's because I'm really nosy. Whether other people enjoy watching mine is another matter. Oh, and the last thing is that they might feature more spinning this year. Oh, I wobbled the camera there, because I think I mentioned in one of my Vlogmas episodes, there's a new shop, a wool shop, opened up just around the corner from my house, and even better, they hold a Spinners Guild meeting there once a month. And I went to my first one last weekend, and it was awesome. When you go into a room with complete strangers and you're there for 5 hours and you don't stop talking about just absolute gibberish the whole time. But it was amazing, because it was like, I know when other people on different podcasts talk about it, they're like, I've found my people. It was a bit like that. Yeah, it's amazing when you're surrounded by people that understand about the love of wool and fluff and fibre and spinning and knitting and crochet and sewing, and they don't look at you like you're a freak when you suddenly start sniffing some wool. So yes, so because there's this Spinners Guild just around the corner from my house, I hopefully should get more spinning done this year as well. So that should be good. Right, that's about it for me for today. I'll hopefully get all these bits pieced together and get this uploaded later on. And I shall see you in a couple of weeks' time, where I'll talk to you about what my plans are for my first outfit of 2019. Alright then, speak to you soon. Bye bye.